In the show, we're going to stick with something very, very important, a great development which heralds great significance for India ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to the US sometime in February. President Donald Trump, who's confirmed this, has said India, quote, will do what's right, quote, on the deportation of illegal migrants. The comments came following a phone call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday around this time. It was their first conversation since Trump's inauguration last week. The readouts by both sides said that the two leaders discussed immigration security issues, but it was Trump's tariff talk that has captured the headlines. In fact, the US president has even gone public on his expectations from India, who he has bracketed alongside China and Brazil as tariff hawks, viewers. Listen in to what Trump said.
China's a tremendous tariff maker, and India and Brazil and so many countries, and so we're not going to let that happen any longer, because we're going to put America first. Always put America first. That's what's going to happen. We're going to establish a very fair system where money is going to come into our coffers, and America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before.
Well, viewers, you heard what President Donald Trump said, that he intends to put the United States first, like other leaders put their countries first, and there's going to be no going back. Now, viewers, if you really look at it, his statement when he says that I am sure India will do what is best and what is right, many people are seeing this as a passive-aggressive negotiating tactic. He's also said that he expects India to buy US weapon systems. So is he making all these? Is he making all these claims to put pressure, to strike a deal, a bargain? We don't know. But let's open this up. Mohandas Pai, Chairman of RN Capital, is here with us. Gautam Chikkarmane, VP of ORF, is here with us. Mr. Pai, I want to come to you first straight off. Look, we can for a moment say that, okay, Mr. Trump is bluffing. He won't pull the trigger on India, etc., etc. But we could also say that being unpredictable, he might just do it. And he has, of course, won an election on this plank. Now, if he does tinker with the tariff systems, if he forces India to obviously lower the tariffs and increases the tariffs on his side, can India pivot and prevent economic damage to itself? Are we ready? Are we prepared for this? Do we have a plan B?
No, Rahul, let me say this. Trump is using disruption as a means of diplomacy to bring people to the bargaining table. He's very serious about it, and we should take him seriously. In fact, Minister Jaishankar said Trump has a disruptive style of doing all these things, threatening people and bringing the bargaining table to do a deal. And we have to make a deal with the US. US is possibly the largest trading partner with us, with whom we have a surplus. We have a $100 billion hole with China. So US trade is very important. US can give us access to technology. And what Trump wants is small things. And if you look at the list of imports from the US, our list of import is very small compared to what we import from outside. And Minister Hardeep Puri said we'll balance trade by buying more of American oil, which we buy anyway. And we are joined at the hip as far as technology and services are concerned, because we are a force multiplier for the United States, which he understands very well. I'm sure Prime Minister Modi has already got a list, because the chambers have prepared a list already where they feel that we have to lower some tariff in areas which are of concern to America. And Rahul, you remember, as far as Trump is concerned, Harley Davidson is the most important thing. The Harley Davidson people went and complained to him. We got 150% tariff. I think India reduced it somewhat for Harley Davidson. So I think Trump is serious. Take him seriously. India has got a list of things. I think they will negotiate and will come to a deal. But his bigger target is China. But we should come to a deal with him and work with him and do more business with him.
But Mr. Pai, I just have to ask you, as Trump localizes further, he's also much like Mr. Modi. He wants to make America great again by making America make again. Now, if this is indeed the case, over a period of time, there will be what is known as nearshoring, friendshoring, which we can, of course, benefit from. But are we in a position to benefit from it? Have we undertaken those reforms? Have we pushed the land reform envelope? Have we created SEZs with the tax reforms that we need to attract capital, even American capital? You say we should do business with him, but have we created that environment?
Well, in services, we have a pretty good environment. This year, service exports will be about $230 billion, and 60% goes to America. We have about 3 million people working for American companies here in technology. Of the 10 million people working for American companies in technology worldwide, 4 million are Indians. And in manufacturing, we got to find out what America actually manufactures. Manufacturing has come down in America. In deep tech, yes, there is some manufacturing. For example, in the chips area, Bangalore has 350,000 chip designer, testers, and embedded software people who largely work for American companies. They know we are a force multiplier for them. So I think, even in manufacturing, I think we have come a long way, but we got to make a deal with him for American companies to come. And I think, for example, in this recent deal for semiconductor chips, these American companies which are coming to Gujarat, in that area where we already made a deal, and I think they're coming, more of them are coming. So I think, look, we have to get beyond the bluster on our part and try to make a deal. India has to be nimble, and and coming to America is our future. Let's be very clear. We cannot depend on Russia for our defense anymore because Russian technology is up to date. We are getting sophisticated technology from China for Pakistan. Their planes are much better than any planes anywhere from whatever they tell us. So we have to get the latest technology for defense. We have to be part of the nuclear area, in the semiconductor area where there's a lot of growth. We are the force multiplier in America, and we have to make a deal and work with him and not just bluster and say put up tariffs.
Gautam Chikkarmani, let me bring you in. How far can Trump go to actualize his tariff threat, diplomacy against India? His India will do the right thing refrain sounds like passive-aggressive diplomacy.
Yeah. I think if you study Trump, he's a business negotiator. And we are not talking about some small-time business. He's a billionaire and so on. So he has this experience of negotiating, and I think he's applying that to politics. Although it may not be a straight line, the transposition of business negotiations onto diplomatic negotiations. But so far, he's been winning. Israel is getting fixed. Russia will soon toe the line. Colombia has changed its stance. Panama Canal they are rethinking what to do with those in that canal. So I think Trump does have a way of negotiating. In India's case, I think whatever he might say, we need to know that, and as we have seen, he takes an extreme stance, and so that there is room for maneuver. Likewise, India should take the other extreme stance without being aggressive, and so that we too get room for maneuver. Now, having said that, I think the India-US relationship has been moving towards one another in a positive manner for the last couple of decades. And I don't think one Trump or one tariff issue or one trade tiff is going to change any of that. When we look at India and US through the integral lens, that is, we are not just looking at trade, we are not just looking at jobs, as in visas. We are looking at the world's two largest democracies coming together to work together. Then I think what the two countries ought to work towards or have the umbrella under is grand strategy. By that I mean that we need the complete relationship. Yes, economy, trade, but equally defense, strategic affairs, technology, and now energy. So I think if we have lots of these negotiating issues on the table, put them and place them next to a simple thing called the tariffs issue, India will find a lot more room to maneuver.
But let me ask you, all this doesn't mean that he will not tinker with tariffs, hurting our economic prospects. He may well do that.
Not economic prospects, but maybe a couple of industry prospects. I think India has made it clear that we are ready to negotiate, and so we are there to talk. India has also said that as long as we will negotiate, as long as it doesn't harm the livelihoods of our people, particularly SMEs. Now, other than that, I think let's look at the tariffs. What are the tariffs that are very high. So there is about 90% for cotton, 177 for oil seeds percent, 135% for fish. These are all farmer, agriculture related, food-based tariffs. And I think America is not coming on a clean slate either. They have their own agricultural tariffs.
Yes.
Let's come down further. Let's come to textiles. We have 27% tariffs. Let's come to clothing. We have 37% tariffs. If at all, I think the high tariffs are in automobiles, where on new cars, they are up to 100%, and on used cars, about 125%. If they go down, it'll be good for India as well, as far as consumers go, and it may satisfy the American. You remember last time in his previous term, there was that big issue about Harley-Davidson duties. And how those got negotiated or did not get negotiated. And I think India did not give in. Today, India is a $4 trillion economy. I think we need to learn the art of negotiation.
Okay.
So there is a strategy of negotiation, which is where Trump starts from, and we need to decide. You know, until about a couple of decades ago, not getting a deal, not signing a deal, was seen to be better than signing a perfect. So either we want a perfect deal, which is in our favor, or we don't sign the deal. Those days are now gone. I think we will have to learn to negotiate as a mature economy, as a $4 trillion, fifth largest economy going on third within this decade. And our negotiating tactics, the manner in which we negotiate, has to become more sophisticated.
Well, viewers, we leave it at this. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us and sharing your perspective. Of course, the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, will know in February whether Trump is a dost or a disruptor or a deal maker and a dost. We don't know, viewers. That only Mr. Trump knows. Mr. Modi will find out. We'll all find out. I'll take a short break. Vantage coming up with Palki Sharma.